She confessed to witchcraft, but only after 7 days of sleep deprivation, burning, and watching her children vanish. Asterisk, welcome to Stecker, where history hides its darkest secrets. We all know about Salem, but Europe's soil runs deeper. With blood, from twisted trials to public executions, these are the forgotten witch hunts that make Salem look like a fairy tale. These were not just accusations, they were warnings carved into the bones of the innocent asterisk one, the Trier witch. Trials, Germany, 1581 to 1593. It began with whispers and ended in ashes. Over 1,000 people were executed in one of Europe's largest witch purges. The prince bishop blamed bad harvests and plague on Satan's followers, but the accused? Children, widows, priests, tortured until they named others. Chains clinked louder, then prayer bells. One priest confessed only after boiling water was poured into his mouth. He died smiling. They said he saw the devil in the judge's eyes. .2. The North Berwick Witch Trials, Scotland 1590. King James VI believed witches were trying to sink his ship. Over 70 people were arrested. Agnes Sampson, a healer, was stripped naked, shaved, and tortured with a rope around her skull. She confessed, not the truth, but to stop the pain back, she told them the devil kissed her behind the church altar. They laughed, then they burned her, and 3 days later, a violent storm sank a merchant vessel just off the same coast. 3. Fulda Witch Trials, Germany, 1603 to 1606. Prince Abbot Balthasar von Dernbach returned from exile and launched a witch purge. Women were plucked from homes at night, accused of riding broomsticks or stealing sleep from their husbands. One midwife, known for saving children, was accused of killing them instead. She begged for her own execution, but they made her watch others burn first. Then they gagged her with soot and set her alight at sunrise. The town still reports children crying in empty alleys. 4. The Aix-en-Provence possessions, France 1611. A convent of Ursuline nuns claimed they were possessed by demons sent by a priest, Father Louis Gaufridi. Public exorcisms turned into theater. The nuns screamed, twisted, and accused. He denied everything. So they tortured him with fire and screws, until he believed it himself. His heart was torn out and burned on. A holy pyre. The crowd cheered. One nun collapsed. Her last words, he wasn't the one. But it was too late. 5. The Pendle Witches, England 1612. 12 people from Lancashire were accused after a peddler fell ill. One of the accused was 9 years old. The evidence? A dog barked during a prayer. The girl testified against her own mother. They were hanged side by side. The mother stared at her daughter, whispering something no one heard. That night, the wind howled unnaturally through Pendle Hill. Locals still avoid it when the moon is high. 6. Bardo Witch Trials, Norway, 1621 to 1663. In the icy town of Vardo, women were accused of flying to mountain Sabbaths. One was dragged from her frozen home, tied, and tested in seawater. If she floated, she was guilty. She did. But it was because her body was stiff with cold. They burned her on the rocks as the aurora danced above. Locals say her screams can still be heard when the northern lights shimmer. 7. The Torsker Witch Trials, Sweden 1671 people beheaded and burned in one day. Children testified under priestly pressure, claiming they saw neighbors feast with Satan. One boy said he saw his grandmother fly. She cried and offered her rosary in defense. They used it to tie her wrists. The crowd watched the executions in silence. Afterward, fog swallowed the town for 3 days. Nothing grew the next spring. Locals whispered, the devil collects what we fear most, our silence. 8. The Milan Witch Panic, Italy, 1390. A wave of hysteria swept through northern Italy. In Milan, women were said to meet in cellars, dance naked, and poison wells. Most of the accused were poor or healers. Or widowed. One woman, Isabella, was arrested for selling herbs. They found wax dolls in her home, evidence, they claimed, of Black Magic Dot, she said they were toys for her dead daughter. They didn't listen. They crushed her legs, then burned her beside the dolls. 9. The Pappenheim witch killings, Bavaria, Germany, 1600s. An entire family was accused after a thunderstorm struck during a harvest festival. The mother, Maria, was believed to have cursed the weather. She was pregnant. They waited until she gave birth, then took the child. No one knows what happened to it. Maria was burned alive. But the sky that day remained clear, until the moment her scream stopped. Then lightning struck the gallows. 10. The Lucerne Trials, Switzerland, 1447. A shepherd reported seeing a coven in the mountains. The city responded with fire and iron. In Lucerne, one man confessed to it. Turning into a wolf at night, he was deemed insane, but his family insisted he'd been behaving strangely, growling in sleep, scratching the walls. When they burned him, the fire sputtered unnaturally. A blackened paw was found in the ashes, though no one ever explained it. Asterisk witch trials weren't just about superstition. They were about fear, power, and silence, the real horror. We believe the witches existed, but the monsters were always human, and some say the wrong still wait under soil, behind wind, in firelight shadows, hoping someone will say their names without fear, but not tonight.